about the graphics.
Yeah, so we're based at Carfrae Farm in East Lothian. We're currently in Tier 2, but we have just recently moved to that. We were in Tier 3. We've got 2 self-catering cottages on the farm at the moment. One of them has 3 bedrooms, sleeps 8 guests, and that one's been quite highly affected by the restrictions and the changes. The other is a 2-bedroom. We're also renovating a 3rd cottage, which was due to have been opened in October past. The delays with planning and materials and restrictions, but I think planning was the biggest hold up, has kind of meant that's going to push out probably to January. But I suppose that's just another impact that we're being affected by. We've got staff, it's 3 members of family working on the farm. We use an independent cleaning company at the moment, that we've not been using them over the last few months, but they are in place, so they've lost a fair bit of work from us as a result of the restrictions. And we've been up and running we're in our 3rd year, we've been up and running since 2018. So that's the background to who we are. And I'll show you the figures.
Yeah, give me 2 seconds to run a separate. Okay, is that okay? Can you see that?
Still on the first slide. Is it the farm figures you're putting up first, Caroline?
Yeah, hold on. Is that?
Yeah, that's fine. That's great. Thanks. This is the self-catering cottages on the farm. So we have, well, since we opened in 2018, we operate all year round. The Trudi cottage is a 2-bedroom that sleeps 4. So the figures in November last year in 2019, we had 63% occupancy. This year that's dropped down to 7% occupancy. The Lammer cottage, the 3-bedroom cottage which sleeps 8, 77% occupancy last year. We have managed to achieve a 67% occupancy this year, but that's weeknight bookings from a construction company. We've had no leisure bookings at all for the bigger cottage in November. We've been affected since October actually in the 3-bedroom cottage when the household rules, it was single household rule.
Yeah.
So 3-bedroom was, became an attractive option for people to book. But if we move down to December figures as well, it's a similar story. It's where the 2-bedroom cottage, 87% occupancy last year, and the bigger cottage had 65% occupancy. And respectively, as you can see, they've dropped down to 16% and 10%. Those 2 bookings, the occupancy for this year, this December, they're Christmas bookings. One is from England, the bigger cottage, it's a family coming up from England. And the one in the smaller cottage, in Trudi cottage, that is currently people coming from Scotland in Tier 2 at the moment. But we have to wait and see whether either of those bookings are actually going to be achieved. And at this point in time, I'm not expecting to get any bookings for December, because as Caroline, as you said at the beginning, there's too much uncertainty. People just feel that they can't plan. But on top of that, I offer a 100% guaranteed refund on any booking, so people can cancel up to 2 days prior to their arrival, and that's very clearly stated. Yet despite trying to give people that reassurance that if they can book, and if at the last minute or 2 days prior to arrival they find they can't come, they are guaranteed to get their money back. But I think people are just so unclear, they're so uncertain, they're not in a state of mind, it seems, where they feel that they can plan. It's pretty devastating impact, as a result of figures. So the total income for both November and December for 2019 it was £9,753, and that's dropped down to, it's almost half, 5,500. But I consider ourselves lucky to have that income at all, because the lion's share of that's based on the workers that were staying in the cottage, in the bigger cottage. If you want to move on to the next slide, Caroline, or the next page. So we run properties in Edinburgh. We've got four self-catering properties in Edinburgh, which have always been totally dependent on the income, the revenue that we generate from those. Those properties have been running for a number of years, and the impact's been quite devastating, and they have effectively closed down. What I should say is the income for 2019, the total income, just under 120,000, that is for the whole year, April to the end of March. And the income for 2020 from those four properties of 6,300, that's to the end of December, projected to, that includes any bookings that we have to the end of December and actually the end of March. So we've taken a big financial hit because we don't draw salaries from the farm. We rely on the income from running the second company, the Edinburgh apartment, to provide our salaries. So there's a significant hole in our finances as a result of the restrictions. One thing I should say in terms of the holiday cottages, what we tend to do is we get a lot of people from Edinburgh. It's mainly Edinburgh, Glasgow and Newcastle, because we're only an hour and a half from Newcastle. So those are kind of three big areas that we draw bookings to the farm from. So yeah, the impact between losing income in Edinburgh and the loss of income at the farm is, it's pretty hard to bear.